Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. How can I even start this video? Let me start this video by saying this. It seems for the past several years, every year the NBA, the Commissioner Voldemort promises to do some things to try and make the NBA more competitive, to try to make the NBA better. And yet, every single year, it seems like the NBA becomes less and less competitive. And there is no greater demonstration than how uncompetitive the NBA is than All-Star Weekend. You know, I remember when I was younger, I used to very much look forward to All-Star Weekend. I used to look forward not only to the three-point shooting contest, I was especially excited about the dunk contest, and I was excited about watching the All-Star game. And, you know, even back in the day, while the All-Star game, they weren't playing breakneck basketball, there did come a point, well, first of all, they weren't playing completely no defense either. But there did come a point in the game which you knew both sides were serious about winning the game. Like where the show was over and it was time to win the game. So, you know, I have to admit, I did not watch the All-Star game in its entirety. I watched highlights from the All-Star game. And it was pretty good amount of highlights, you know, from the first quarter. There were highlights that went through every quarter. First, second, third, and fourth. They weren't just the best highlights of the All-Star game. So as I'm watching the game, first of all, the amount of threes taken was ridiculous. As a matter of fact, I believe they also set a record in three-point shots and three-pointers made for the East. 42 threes. Yay for you guys. But the amount of threes taken were ridiculous. The amount of, or the lack of defense played was utterly disgraceful. And there didn't come a point in the game where you felt like the losing team was really trying to catch up. Like, hey, we need to catch. There didn't come a point at any time in the game where you felt like, okay, these teams are getting serious about winning the game now. That never came. So not only did they break a record in threes made, they broke a record in how many points was scored. The 200 points threshold was crossed. And to that I say, why don't you guys just please get rid of All-Star Weekend? Just get rid of it. Why do we need it? Just get rid of All-Star Weekend. This is completely ridiculous. This is completely disgraceful. Between both teams, they almost scored 400 points. Almost 400. Okay. And so here's another thing that I find really ironic. Damian Lillard won the MVP. And of course, you know, the All-Star Game MVP now is named after the great Kobe Bryant. And I find it highly ironic that highly ironic that you could give the Kobe Bryant trophy to anybody on that court. Highly ironic that you could give the trophy with the name of one of the hardest workers in basketball ever to anyone on the court who participated in the game to which there was almost 400 points scored. That is hilarious to me. Anyway, Damian Lillard won the MVP. I'm not even sure what more to say about this. Again, the announcers sounded like they were trying to make it sound as competitive as possible. But I'm very curious to see how people are going to be talking about this over the next couple of days. Or if they're just going to glaze over it and not really talk about it at all. But again, this is ridiculous. And this is why, mainstream media constantly trying to convince us that these players are just as competitive as players of the past. That is an impossibility. When you have no desire to play defense, you cannot convince me you're competitive. Defense is part of the game. Again, basketball is one of the few sports where players are playing both offense and defense, where a singular player can affect the game on both sides of the ball. So that means being able to play offense and defense is important. So that means defense, again, you don't get the same kind of glory as offense, which is why I feel like a lot of players have abandoned it, which is why the NBA as a whole has abandoned it. But it shows, to me, defense shows how competitive you are. Because it shows that you not only want to dominate offensively and show your offensive skills, but it shows you also want to shut the other player down. If you are not playing defense, to me, you cannot have a claim to being one of the more competitive players in the league. And if the league as a whole does not play defense, you cannot have a claim for being just as competitive as players of the past. It just does not make sense. But anyway, well, what more is there to say? I guess we'll hold up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm assuming most of the people who watch this channel probably did not watch All-Star Weekend. Why would you? But if you did, or if you watched any of the highlights, what did you think? What could you think? Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.